Oh hey, today on Vice Grip Garage I'm going to show you how to replace a window motor on a 1990 Chevrolet Suburban. Because I've almost died 3 times the last few days, it's been like 612 degrees outside and I can't roll the window down. So I'm going to show you how to do that quick. And this should be the same from 1982 to 1991. Or 1991, should be the same. Silverado pickup, Suburban, so forth, front door, back door. Same from passenger to driver. Don't really need much for tools. Screwdrivers, if you have one of those electronic screwdrivers, that's good. Maybe a hammer and a vice grip. And I'll go show you, I call it the Suburballac, because let's be honest, a Suburban is the perfect mix between a luxury pickup and a Cadillac. Let's go take a look. So here's my 1990 Suburban. I call it the Suburballac. And if you're watching, I'm sure it looks pretty familiar in one way or another. Most likely the door panel itself. First step is we're going to take all the chrome trim off. Just this plastic stuff, the switches. Little door lock thingamajigger, and then we got some screws along the bottom here to take out, and then we'll actually pull the panel off and get to the door lift and the motor. I like to start with this pole handle for no particular reason, and I've broken about 50 million of these. So the trick to these is there's 2 tabs on the inside and 1 on the back. Pull it this way and then they'll pop out. If you try to pry them off this way, you're going to snap these plastic tabs off and you'll be buying these from LMC again. Once you get those off, you'll be able to remove the pull handle here. There'll be 2 screws down in here for this trim. Mine only has 1, just because. That's that. Take that off. There'll be 2 screws down in this armrest pad. Do your absolute best not to strip those. Okay, now that I've got everything loosened up here, I'm going to work on the switches. There's metal clips on either side of these. Once you get one popped out, then you can get your finger in there and just pop the other one out. Alright, door lock switch and window switch is out. These are the metal clips I was referring to. Once these are out, these blue twist caps is what's holding the wiring on the switches. So we're just going to simply twist these off, and then this will come right off. Doing my best to be gentle here, because normally I would just jam it in here and pry on it until my teeth snapped, but I don't want to try to buy any of this stuff again, so I'm just kind of lightly prying that off. There we go. Now that that's off, all we're going to do is pull the bottom of the panel out, and then we're simply going to lift up. The window felt will be seated in here pretty tough. That's common, just kind of rock it back and forth, and it should pop like that. pull it towards you, and that's it, door panel off. Alright, now we need to get the window regulator track thingamajig out of the door itself, because the old motor hooks to the on the bottom of it. So I've got a 11mm. I've already zinged a few of these off, and then it hooks onto the armrest here as well. So I'm going to finish getting these off, and then we'll pull the actual window assembly out. There are some screws hiding on your vent window. So once you get the armrest bracket out of the way, the support bracket out of the way, these bolts down here, the regulator motor is going to fall loose. I had to take my persuader that all of you kind of shrugged at, gave her an old 1-2. Now's the really fun part, which is MacGyvering this out of here. And you should be able to pull it out of the door space here, and there's a notch in the track of the window that you can pull that wheel out. And if that fails, just lean back on her, and you know, she'll come out of there. Give her a bend. So here's a way to keep your window up as you finish wrestling this out. After I got the last wheel out of it, there wasn't any reason to pull the glass, so I went and got my window holder 6000 and got it on top of the door, dropped it down, got it into the track, and that's going to hold that for me while I finish wrestling it out here. Alright, got it up on the workbench here, and basically this is your electric motor. There's a small drive wheel in here, and that does the thing instead of doing the old crank. And don't forget to unplug it, of course, before you yank it out of the door. And this one just has these 3 big bolts here. We're going to take those out and put the new motor on. Now if you've got small enough hands and arms, you might be able to reach down in there, pop these 2 out and push this back. And if you've got a lot of patience, you might be able to take those bolts out and not remove the assembly, but there's no way I'm getting my mitts in there, so this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, so here's the new motor, and you can see that it doesn't have this Schwarzenegger bracket on top of it here, and it has these special little clip fastener thingamabobs on there. So I'm going to drill those out, and then I'm just going to use some rivets and rivet this piece back onto this motor. So here we go. This is the piece off the old motor, and it's pop riveted into the new piece, and yeah, she looks factory. So I went ahead and put a gallon of grease on this, greased this up here, the track, and I also put about 89 gallons of grease into the window track thing inside the truck. So now we're just going to put this on, and this was preloaded just a hair, so I'm going to bend this back like that and then get these started. These larger bolts are a 1/2 inch, and again, I'm really lazy, so anytime that I can use my electrotronic, I'm going to. There we go. Let's go get it in the truck. Alright, before I get too far, I'm just going to set it here. Got my electrical connection hooked up. I'm going to take my switch, don't pinch your hand off. But just going to verify that it's working before I get too far and get something else wrong, like a connector or something. Alright, so this is connected and tight. I'm going to go ahead and feed it back through the door and start the process in reverse. Alright, it's all on the track now, so I'm going to move my special window helper, and then I'm going to start lining up the bolt holes here. You got these two main bolts here. The ones you're going to line up after you get your wheels on the track, and then we'll just test it here before we get too far. And almost took my hand off. Well, that sucker's like a... Look at that speed on that. Look at that. So that's good. So now I'm just going to continue with putting everything back. Should go pretty quick, hopefully. Oh, I'm so bad at losing stuff. I try to throw everything right here on the floor mat, and it seems to have worked fairly well for me today. I should also explain that you don't have to take the vent window out at all, although I loosened up the screws for that. The only reason I did that was so the window track has some wiggle room on it, because I have anger issues really bad, and otherwise I just start pulling and bending things. So when I work on stuff, I like to try to have a little room to whatever I'm doing. Feed the electric through, drive your handle, pull that through, pull your door lock up, it's easiest that way, and then you can feed that threaded rod through the open hole. There we go. Now we'll work on switches first, then we'll secure it all the way around. Moving on to the pull strap here. Nice thing about these older Chevys is all of the screws and bolts will leave an impression on the surface they were tightened to. So you can literally tighten everything exactly where it was previously if you just pay attention to the markings. Just like that. These clips. This side goes in first. There we go. Work my way around with screws here. All right, here's the finished product. There you go. Here's the tools I used. Electrotronic screwdriver, some nut drivers, flathead, Torx bit, vice grip, 1/2 inch, and some America. And I did use the hammer a little bit, which made me feel good because I didn't get to cut or weld on this project. Well, there you have it. New window motor in a 90 Chevy. And I'll tell you a thing or two about a thing or two. If I can do this, I promise you, you can do it. And it sure does feel more like America when you can roll your window down whenever you want to. Make sure you subscribe. I got a laundry list of stuff to do to this truck, as well as a lot of other projects coming soon. And do the thing on Facebook too. Mazel. Catch you later.